What's up, everybody? We're back. Had to go bundle up. I want to give you all a little bit of information on Out on a Limb. We got Mr. Chase Stalker here. And tell everybody about your business. What do you guys offer in the hunting community?
We offer lightweight mobile hunting, bow hunting gear.
Okay.
So we make climbing sticks, saddle platforms, lightweight tree stands right here in Enid, Oklahoma.
Okay, so made in America.
Yep.
Are you is it a metal thing? Is it poured? Is it welded?
It's everything. It's all aluminum. So milled, welded, machine. I mean everything. So water jet pieces.
Okay.
Whole 9 yards.
So, are you a traditional hunter or saddle hunter? A little bit of both.
Traditionally tree stand.
Okay.
Just because we build saddle hunting gear, kind of switched over to a saddle hunter this last few years. So do a little bit of both. Still do a lot of tree stand hunting.
What did you think when you first heard about the saddle hunting? Was it oh no, not for me?
Man, I grew up hunting like wooden stands that my grandfather built and put in trees, and tower blinds, rifle hunting with my dad and stuff like that. And then when I kind of became a bow hunter, it was just tree stands. So when we got into saddle hunting, I didn't know what the heck we were getting into, to be honest with you. It just looked like like you're wearing a diaper,
Tree diapers.
Yeah, and all these ropes. I'm not an arborist. I'm not used to climbing rocks or anything. So it was all new to me. But it's a really easy learning curve, I'll say.
Okay.
And it's been fun to learn, actually. So.
What's the I don't assume anything. You gun hunt, bow hunt, both?
Bow hunt.
Bow hunt.
Yep.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
You're qualified to be on the podcast.
Just a bow hunter.
So tell everybody what it's like when you're first getting used to a saddle. How do you practice in the backyard on a 3D?
Yeah, you definitely want to shoot. You definitely want to shoot a target for sure.
Okay.
I would say the best way to practice is just to if you have a platform, just to get a platform high and then just, get in your saddle and definitely shoot from there, because having that bridge in your way and having all those ropes in your way it takes a learning curve for sure to kind of get it down. I would start out there and then eventually get your sticks, get that method of climbing down, because that's the part of doing this and being lightweight and using a saddle is getting there and getting up fast and getting up quietly. So it's definitely it takes some practice, but yeah, just a plain tree or heck a telephone pole. If you have a telephone pole in your backyard or something, or a light pole, those are perfect.
Yep.
Good way to practice.
I say, can I get an old half a telephone pole and just stick it? Yeah.
It would be money. It'd be the best way of doing it, in my opinion. If you can afford it.
I shot, not this past year, but the year before. I went and got a used one because my buddy said I needed one, and I call him $700 Josh. Shout out to the Boundary Paradox, my buddy Josh Vire. Every time he calls me, it costs me at least $700. If it's a video camera, boat motor, tree saddle setup, trip to tack, you name it, it's $700 minimum every time he calls. And he called me yesterday. I ain't got $700. I had to send it to voicemail. But he got me up in one of those. I was shooting a hinge, and it was really the difference in a hinge and a button. When you take your feet away and you have to run your core a different way, that bow really feels different. Yeah. But tried it again with a button a year later, and altogether different. Yeah. Altogether different experience. Absolutely. And it was like I was shooting a 3D target out at 35 yards. I was like, man, I'm about to bounce an arrow off the back of this thing. I just didn't have that level of confidence. So tell people, how long does it, do you need to start in the spring? Do you need to start March, April?
I would. The earlier the better. Really, you need to be shooting your bow all year long. Oh yeah. And if you're gonna be serious about wanting to shoot one or wanting to get one on the ground out of a saddle, I'd definitely say, you need to be practicing in the spring. You need to be getting in that. It is different, and especially practicing shooting your weak side. A lot of guys don't think about that when you're in there, but the whole, when you're leaning away from the tree and you're shooting your strong side, what if that deer comes in on your weak side, over here on this, and you have to spin, or there's different ways, but it's
put the tether back up this way and come back like that.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
And you need to practice that for sure, because you don't want that to be the reason why you don't get it done.
That was the only way I practiced was weak, because I was like, strong side I'm good, but I got up there on the weak side with the tether here leaning out against it, and man, you talk about trust the pin float.
Absolutely.
Oh, that was a different thing.
Absolutely.
So let's get back to your equipment over there. Mm-hmm. Tell them about the different packages and the different, because you came up and designed all these, right?
Yeah.
So let me tell us about what you got. And I'm going to put one of these cameras over here on it while you're talking.
Yeah, absolutely. So everything we make is all aluminum, lightweight. 10 years ago, we started out in this industry building tree stands. In the last 5 years, we switched over to mobile hunting gear. One of our main products we sell is the car climbing sticks. When they came out 4 years ago, they won gold at the 2020 ATA show. 5 years ago now. They won gold award for best new product. That's a pretty big deal for us. They are a lightweight, 1 pound climbing stick. Stack really well, claps real well. That's our main deal. Some other things that we've kind of evolved to is just lightweight tree stands. So we have some aluminum tree stands that are very lightweight, weighing under 10 pounds, great for public land. And that's really kind of where we cut our teeth, is making products for public land hunters. Being able to get in there, most guys, especially in the South or around here, you're using like a climber stand. They can weigh 20, 25 pounds, but one of our setups, you got a platform and 3 sticks weighing about 8 pounds. So that's kind of the advantageous.
So for your less physically inclined public land hunters, it might make or break you on an 8-mile trek.
Could, absolutely, could, but not our stuff. It's so lightweight, you can get in there no problem.
I think the best thing about some of these saddles is all the different accessories. I didn't know that there's like a bunch of different companies that'll print you either 3D or this or that little what's the ring of steps called, to where you can tiptoe.
Yeah, ring of steps is what they call them.
Yep.
Ring of steps. Yeah. Absolutely.
So there's is there really a way to rig those up and not have a weak side shot? Can they all be strong side 360 degrees, or are you going to have that one deer in that one lane that you just got to go over the shoulder?
You could probably make it work with the ring of steps. You're still going to have that issue of that tether wanting to grab the tree as you spin it around. You definitely want to practice shooting that weak side shot. A ring of steps is probably going to help you, but you're going to have the right size of tree. It's going to have to be clear enough.
Well, let's back up real quick, just for the uneducated like myself. How do you pick a good tree for a saddle? Like, what are you looking for besides deer sign? Because locations depending on what your game you're stalking.
Yeah.
What's a good tree?
I can get in more trees with a saddle than I can a tree stand or a lock-on, I feel. So really, I don't have a hard time finding trees. I mean, it's just if you've hunted and you've looked for a tree for your stand, it's the same thing. I mean, you can put that saddle in that same tree. So I'm looking, for the deer sign, obviously, and then just a good clear spot where I know I don't need to be, 20 feet in the air. I don't need to be 15 feet in the air. I killed one deer this year off 12 feet, but it was just the perfect little scenario in that tree where I could get to. That's really what I look for. I don't really I don't stress over the trees too much, I guess. Being in the saddle, you can get in basically anywhere. So
now, if you're 280, 300 pounds, maybe not one of those.
Yeah, right.
If it's creaking on the way up, maybe rethink that one if you can.
We definitely try to recommend at least like a women's basketball size for the most part.
Man, trying to think. What else, as far as if you're new to saddle hunting, what are some other things that are going to save you time? Do you need the ascender, descender, or is Prusik not the way to go?
Prusik, I mean, if you want to just keep it simple and budget friendly too, that Prusik's nice. It works great. The mechanical stuff, guys, you don't need the mechanical stuff. It makes it a little easier, but you're going to be spending a premium dollar. You can keep it real simple and be very successful with it, I believe.
Biggest question I've got, and this probably shows my own ignorance, how do you one stick?
That's a good question.
How do you climb a tree with one stick?
That's a good question, man. And that is something that has really taken off for us the last couple of years. We sell more one sticks than anything. I haven't one sticked. It's a thing that the East Coast guys and the guys in the South use a lot more.
Okay.
We don't really sell many here in Oklahoma too much, but basically you're walking up there with a climbing stick that has an aider on it. If you don't know what an aider is, it's just a rope, a free-hanging rope ladder. You walk up to your tree and you hang that stick as high as you can. You'll climb up that stick, and then when you get up to the top of that stick, you'll cinch your tether down, kind of wrap your legs around that tree, reach underneath you, unhook that stick, raise it above you, hang it again, climb it again. Usually guys will make 3 moves and that gets them about 20 feet. That sounds like a lot, but it can be 3 pounds. and that's equivalent to your 4 climbing sticks in a tree stand or your climber, and you're talking about 3 pounds. That's all you're carrying in to get up into a tree 20 feet, and that's pretty advantageous. I mean, the guys that do it, man, they love it. The guys that really kind of figure it out do really well with it.
I've seen them. They come in. They got one stick. They got a saddle, and they got their saddle on. They got their platform in their hand. They got one stick, and he goes, "I can hunt any tree on this ground."
Oh yeah.
I mean, it definitely changes the game as far as scouting deer, trying to get a play on them, being able to play the wind.
100%, yeah. I mean, the ability to move so fast and so quietly to get up a tree real quick. Okay, my wind's not great here. Well, I got a deer just winded me. I need to move over there. Oh, there's a buck checking that bedding area. I need to be on the back side of that bedding area. I can get down, move real fast, quiet, be up in that tree and ready to go again.
There you go.
Yeah, it's great for that.
I'm looking forward to getting versatile in them, or at least well versed to where I could do it in the backyard in the daylight.
Yep.
Trying to walk down in the 6 a.m. before the sun come up.
Man.
Yeah.
The first time I ever did it, it kicked my butt. It kicks your butt if you haven't done it in the dark. That's why, the practice thing is a big deal. Just getting those moves down and kind of figuring out how you're going to tie your sticks off and everything in the dark. Once you,
I'll tell you how I'm going to tie them off. I'm going to buy about 9 sets of them off of you, and I'm going to leave them in the tree, and I'll probably leave the platform in the tree too, because I don't know if it's lazy or apathetic, but yeah, I'm going to treat them just like a ladder stand and have one in every third tree on my little 40 acres. So.
Absolutely, I hear you. That's the way to do it.
So, what's the youngest saddle hunter you've seen somebody shoot a deer out of?
Oh man. That's a nice thing doing this is, we travel to a lot of trade shows during the spring and summer, so you do get to meet a lot of customers, people that are picking it up. Man, 12 or 13-year-old kids that really like it. I've seen some kids kill some pretty good bucks about that age. So
I'd say there's probably some and saddle hunting's been, 5-10 years? 5-10
years with the Fires guy, but it's been around for 30 years. People have been using tree saddles for a long time now. So
okay, I think in another 10 years we'll probably have some good stats and say they're at least as safe as the old rickety ladder stand,
100%.
or
100%.
possibly safer.
It's so easy to sell to a mother or to a father with their child, because I can guarantee you, if your son is going to public land and he's hunting out of a tree stand, or he's got that tree stand already set up, if he gets there and he doesn't have his harness, he can still go climb that tree. He can still go talk himself into it. But if your son or your daughter is going to public land and they're planning on hunting out a saddle and they forget that saddle at home, if they get there, they can't go climb that tree. They can't hunt, and it ain't gonna work. You have to have that saddle. You have to have that harness always on. So I think it's way safer than anything that we do right now.
It forces you, and read my lips when I say this: safety harness, safety harness, safety harness. Yeah. You gotta wear. I don't care if you're 10 feet, 20, 30 feet off the ground. You gotta wear one. Absolutely. Saddle hunting is 100% of the time you are at least tethered to something.
Yes.
And gravity's undefeated. Father time and gravity. We just can't beat them no matter what we try.
That hurts, I tell you what.
Well, you get a certain age, you pass bouncing age. So we might have a few years past that, but I got up in a ladder stand this year without one, kicked myself all the way up. You probably better oughta, probably should have, but I just went up there, saw a couple deer, didn't really feel like shooting anything, and it's never worth risking. I've had some people fall out of one on us before that probably shouldn't have made it out, but got very blessed, very lucky. So. Yeah. The thing about saddle hunting is you are tethered in 100% of the time, and you can wear, this is probably a good point for you, this probably sells some product for you, you can use a saddle as a safety tether in a regular stand and then turn around 180 for your weak side out of a regular ladder, climber, hang on,
100%.
Anything like that. Just wear that tree diaper and run that safety tether up like this. It ain't going to be in the way, and if you need to shoot weak side, you just turn around like this on the tree. Boom, there we go. Just like that. So
I killed both my bucks this year doing the same thing, using a saddle out of a tree stand.
Now, is that called a hybrid?
You would call it a hybrid. I'm sure that's what they refer to it as a hybrid. Hybrid setup. But yeah, absolutely.
So what do we got to do to get you and the guys from Out on the Limb to put on kind of a seminar or class? If we could get a couple telephone poles up in here, would y'all want to get together and do a little video seminar on how to saddle 101?
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Leave your horse at home.
That's something that we definitely need to get going around here. There's not many saddle hunters around where we're from. Oklahoma. You get to the east part of the state and the southern part of the state, it's starting to grow. But
Well, it helps when you have trees.
absolutely, yeah. We don't have many trees around here, but
And no big deer either, so don't even come looking for them.
no, you got to go north a couple hours or way south to find those big deer.
Yeah, there's none of them in the county. Don't even. I say we got a couple of them on camera here. Over here, got the wardens.
I've been very impressed with the deer walking in here today.
It's insane.
I'm very impressed.
I'm gonna try to get him. This one here, he went a grand total of 139.
Oh yeah.
That was my best one. Accidentally killed another deer thinking he was him. Looked just alike, and
Yeah.
my dad always told me, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." Shot the wrong deer and said, "Well, he shouldn't have been hanging out with that rough crowd. You know, he shouldn't have been going to that bar that night at that honky tonk."
Yeah, that's a cool deer. That's an awesome deer.
Yep, his name's Steve. Named him after my buddy Steve.
Heck yeah.
Also might need shot a time or two. But, yeah, that one he was educated. He saw me shoot last year. He saw me shoot Steve 2023, and then a doe, and then he saw me shoot the first one this year. So he'd seen me on that one corn pile. He'd seen me shoot 3 times, and he came in and made that J into the wind and sat there kicking leaves in the timber for like 45 minutes before dark. Came out. I couldn't see hardly anything. He stopped right at my 30-yard arrow broadside, stuck his front leg out, and started sniffing at it. Well, guess we're full draw.
You heard that noise.
I'd already turned my light on, turned it off because it was too bright. We had to call a little tracking dog. Went 140 yards. Caught liver, but back too far. Sure. Caught liver, probably dead in 2 hours, but we gave him all night, and the coyotes had a field day with him.
Oh, yeah.
But yep, he was the first one I've shot in 34 years that made it off the 40 acres I hunt on. So
Yeah.
props to him. He made it farther than any of them, but not quite far enough. Just low liver, you know.
Sure.
Always got to back out, give him time.
Yeah, that's part of it.
How about your year? You said you killed a couple deer. You got them here with you?
I did. I got one over there. I killed my biggest buck this year.
Well, go grab that thing.
I'll go grab it.
Let's go. Let's show everybody what they're missing out on 2 hours away from Enid, Oklahoma. We'll give him just a second, guys. He's gonna go. He's got a big old pile of deer heads over there. Whole bunch of good-looking deers. We got some people trying out the new Darton bows. We got the Consequence 2. We got the Sequel 33. We've even got the Exodus 37 Pro SD over here. So anybody wants to come try one of these new Dartons, come on out. Look at that. Let me get this out of the way. That is a stud deer.
He's got
Look at the trash on that thing.
one of his bases goes 5.5.
Broke one off back here.
Busted off with a split breast.
Split brow. Well, start with the story. What'd you name him?
That's a good question, man. So we watched this deer for the last 3 years. He's a 5-year-old buck. When we got him on camera 3 years ago, he had the same trash off his bases, so we named him Boot Spur.
Boot Spur.
So he looked like he had boot spurs, and so he's been named Boot Spur for the last 3 years. We've passed him a lot. He's very, very, very frequent. Very frequent. I've had more pictures of this deer than any deer I've ever had on camera. Very regular. To the point where I shot him this year, October 14th. Hit him high. Called probably the same dog you called. Never found him that night. Called the drone that night. Never found him. He was back 2 days later in the daylight. Same spot I shot him.
Where'd you hit him?
Just high. I tell you what, I hit him 3 inches lower when I killed him. It was just that I was shooting more down into him. When I shot him the first time, I was shooting so flat that arrow just kind of high, high in that no man's land.
Do you think no man's land's there all the time or just when they're breathing out? Because if they're breathing in, you know that lung's got to expand.
Yeah.
And it's a 50-50 shot. Are they breathing in or breathing out? And when your heart rate's going about, 214 over cardiac arrest, it's hard to...
It is.
Can't tell if he's breathing in or out, but I'm going to hit that balloon.
Yeah. And I think he just ducked. That's another thing, too. When I shot him the first time, he was alert. And so when I let that arrow go, you can see him drop a little bit, and it was just enough to make it hit high. But that second time, I got him in front of me and was able to kill him. The entry was just 2 inches lower, but I was 20 feet high on the top of a ridge, and he was at the base of the ridge walking by, and it was just, that angle was just too much.
Yeah. So that was your first buck this year or your second?
That was my second buck. My first buck is over here. I can go get it, too.
So he's going to go. It's a big old episode of show and tell going on.
Killed both bucks out of the same stand. This is just a little 118-inch buck. He was a 7-year-old deer. He field dressed 185.
Golly,
just a big old brute.
Body.
Oh yeah, just a big old brute.
Was he running? So you killed him earlier?
Killed him well, I shot him first. Killed this one November 9th, and then killed that one November 19th. So this one came in chasing the doe.
There you go.
Just pushing the doe around.
When they're 7.5 and big bodied, you know they're doing more damage running stuff off than they are.
Absolutely. He was a deer I was wanting to get killed last year just because of how big he was, and he was a bully. Just a small 10-point, nothing for score wise. But I wanted to get him killed last year. He just never showed himself.
You call that a cull deer or a management deer? Or you just call it he just got old?
I tell you, I really enjoy finding a 5 or 6-year-old deer. I want to every year when I put my cameras out, I want to find the oldest deer I got on camera, or at least a 5 or 6-year-old deer, and just go. I don't care about the rack size. I just want to go after it. So to me, that's a great bow kill. Is what I'll call it as. 6-year-old, 120-inch. I mean, the dude's been around. He's smart. He's intelligent. It's cool to get those deer on the ground, regardless of what the headgear was. He could have been, they can't really decide what their headgear is going to be. He could have been a 180-inch deer, but
you never know. It's
just a smart guy.
A little bit of genetics, a little bit of how much food they have, and a little bit of, well, there wasn't some old kid shot him youth weekend.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how old you are. Youth weekend for me used to be antlerless, and now youth weekend's them teeing off, baby. Third weekend of October.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yep.
I was like, where was that when I was a kid?
Right, yeah.
I feel like if you're 30, 40 years old and your youth weekend didn't ever have no horns on it, you may be entitled to compensation here at Cooley and Autry.
Yeah.
Golly. So tell everybody just real quick where they can follow you on your social media accounts. How can they get a hold of you if they want to get into saddle hunting?
Absolutely. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. It's at On a Limb MFG. We have a website, atonalimmmfg.com. That's where you can order all of our products. You can contact us there as well. We go to trade shows pretty often. We'll be in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa next weekend for the Iowa Deer Classic. That's a pretty cool one.
I don't even want to go there, man. Those people have deer that just...
Man, if you love whitetail hunting, that is a sweet place to go. They do they'll do like a shed hunting or a shed measuring contest, and then they'll bring in all the deer from the year. And the deer that you see walk in through those doors in Iowa, oh my gosh, it's nuts. Giants in Iowa. Giants. Everybody knows them.
So the biggest question we always ask everybody before we let you go, tell us about your bow setting. What do you shoot?
Man, I shoot an Obsession Evolution 6. I've been shooting Obsession for 9 years now. Just real simple, 6-inch brace height, 70 pounds, 28-inch draw. I'm not much of a target shooter. I'm real simple, man. I just like to bow hunt. I like to get in a tree and hunt big bucks. That's what I like to do. So
I hear it, man. I'm the guy in charge of getting target archery going. We got the 145 class for anybody that wants to shoot their hunting bow year round. We all pick up a target bow and put our hunting bow down, and I tell people it's like, you're gonna save a set of strings every 3 years if you don't shoot it year round. Right. But there is something to be said for keeping that. Get you five arrows every night in the backyard.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Stretch it out to 50, 60 yards. If you want to hunt deer at 30, 40 yards, you need to be practicing at 50, 60.
That's what I tell everybody too. Absolutely. Yeah, double that distance.
I'm telling you what, I'm getting a little excited about trying to saddle hunt.
It's fun, man.
I don't know, man. I kill most of mine out of a ground blind and a few out of a tripod. Sure. That's about as exotic as we get over here. But I look at it like I could do more with the trees I have if I can just get in there and find them. Without having to go booger them out of their beds and put your scent everywhere. Just sneak in dead of night, crawl right in bed with them, be hanging 18 feet above them. My buddy Jeremiah, he kills them with a stick bow. He's a Black Widow guy. Shout out to Jeremiah. He don't get sometimes 4 to 7 feet off the ground. If it's a little pine tree, he goes right up there, 6 feet off the ground, smoked him.
Oh yeah,
10-yard shot. And you don't realize how close you can get to these deer without them having any clue you're there, because You've seen old mature deer before. They go through the forest, look up in that tree, look up in that tree, got shot at from that one. They're looking. You get 7, 8, 9 feet off the ground, just above head height, they might never, ever know you're there.
It's weird. It's weird the way it works, but that's definitely true.
They got that sixth sense tingling. Man, appreciate you sitting down with us. I don't want to keep you from your booth too long. Everybody go give this guy a follow. Tell him your name one more time.
My name's Chase Stalker with Out on a Limb Manufacturing.
There you go, man. Y'all heard it here first. We'll see you next time. Thanks, sir. Appreciate you, bud.